to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to solve equations. So let's say we have an equation that looks something like this and we're trying to find the x right here, right? So we don't know what x is and we're trying to find out what it's equal to. So looking at this equation, the first thing we have to do is we have to recognize that we have two terms, right? So we have a term right here, 2x is the first term, and the second term is plus 6. So two terms right here on the left side, and there's a term on the right side, right? 8 is another term. So from here, we can see that the terms are separate, and we want to get rid of this 6 right here, right? We want to basically keep x by itself. We're trying to isolate for the x, and when we try to isolate for x, we have to basically get rid of everything that's beside the x. And here, this 2x, they're kind of more, the 2x is more close together in comparison to, let's say, a 2x and a 6, right? 6 seems kind of farther apart from the x. So I like to think of it this way, like it's easier to rip away the 6 from the x, so we want to get rid of the 6 first. Because we want to rip off what is easier to rip off from the x. So the 6 looks like it's easier because it looks farther away from the x, and the 2x is like treat it as one term, so it's more stuck together. So we will deal with that after. So let's do what's easier to rip away first. So that's why we are going to get rid of the 6. And to get rid of this plus 6, we have to apply the opposite operation. And to do that, we have to recognize this is positive 6, right? Positive 6, and positive 6, the opposite of that is negative 6. And that's because if we have positive 6 and then we have negative 6 and we combine them together, we get 0. So I am going to apply the opposite, right? So I have here 2x plus 6. I'm copying the same thing. I left a little space here. In this space, I'm going to minus 6 and I'm going to minus 6 here. So I apply the same operation on both sides, right, to balance out the equation. So I did this here, right? And whatever I do on one side, I must do on the other side, so that's why I did this here. So now that I have done the plus 6 and minus 6 on this side, I can cancel these two out because positive 6 minus 6 gives me 0. So it's going to become 0, so it cancels out. So I'm left with 2x, so I'm going to copy 2x in the next line. And then here it's 8 minus 6. 8 minus 6 gives me 2, so I'm going to write down 2 right here on the right side because 8 minus 6 was on the right side. Now 2 is on the right side because it's the result from 8 minus 6. So now I have 2x equals 2, right? 2x equals 2, which is 2 times x equals 2, right? And the opposite of multiplication is division, so I'm going to do the opposite, right? And why am I doing that? Because I want to isolate for x. The ultimate goal is to get x by itself, and when we get x by itself, we are isolating for x, and we want to get rid of other numbers that are beside x and on the same side of the equation as x. So that's why we're going to get rid of 2. So this 2 and this 2 are going to cancel, and x is going to be equal to 2 over 2. 2 over 2 is the same as 1. So therefore, x is equal to 1. So now say I have a question that looks something like this, and I am asked to solve for x. So our x is right here, right? Negative 4x right here, and this, we have a 3. So we're trying to get rid of everything basically on the same side as x. The same side as x in the equation. So in the equation, x is on the left side, right? What other numbers are on the left side? Well, we have negative 4 right here, and we have a 3 right here. So we want to get rid of those. So remember, we have two terms on the left side of this equation. 1, 2. And it's easier to get rid of the terms first, okay, rather than doing dividing by this negative 4, right? It would be easier to rip away the term that doesn't have an x, so this constant right here. So to get rid of this 3, we have to recognize this 3 is the same as positive 3. right? Without the sign, it means it's positive. There is an invisible plus sign in front of this 3. And generally it's not written, but right now I'm writing it, I'm revealing it, that there is, in fact, a positive sign in front of the 3. So it means this 3 is positive, okay? So since this 3 is positive, we have to apply the opposite of positive, which is negative. So I'm going to apply -3 on this side. Okay, so this is the new thing I did here. And so whatever I do on one side, I must do on the other side. So here I have 8. And then I have to do what I did on this side, which is subtract 3. So I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, right? I did the boxed thing on both sides. Because whatever I do on one side, I must do on the other side, because I have to balance the equation. So I have 3 minus 3. So I'm going to cancel that out. That's going to be 0. This here is going to leave us with -4x, okay? The sign from these 3's are also canceled out along with the 3, so I don't write the positive or negative signs. And then here I have 8 minus 3. 8 minus 3 is equal to 5. And then from here we can see this is -4x, which is -4 times x. And the opposite of multiplication is division, and we want to get rid of the numbers that are on the same side as x, right? The same side as x on the equation. So it's -4 that we need to get rid of now. So to do that, we have to basically apply the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So I'm going to divide by -4 on this side, and whatever I do on one side, I must do on the other side to balance the equation out. Okay, so it's like you have to do something on this side, and whatever you do on this side, you must do on the other side. So -4 and -4 are going to cancel. X is thus equal to 5 over -4, and this can be rewritten as -5 over 4. I just brought the negative in front of the fraction. It's the same thing. So x is equal to -5 over 4. Now let's say our variable x is on both sides of the equation. Okay, so now we have to basically solve for x, and to do that, we have to realize that yeah, our x's are on both sides of the equation, and to basically solve for x here, our strategy is a little bit different. We have to, well, it's pretty similar, but first we have to take the x, right, and combine them together on one side of the equation, and then put the constants on the other side. So how about we move this x to the left side, okay? First, so let's move this x to the left side. And how do we do that? Well, we can recognize that this x is basically positive. As mentioned before, there is a invisible plus sign in front of basically the numbers or variables that don't really show the sign. If there's no sign here, it just means this is positive. Okay, I'm revealing the invisible plus sign from this x, so this is positive x. So here it's positive, right? And the opposite operation of positive is going to be negative. So this is the invisible plus sign from the x. So we have to apply the opposite operation to this x. And the opposite is going to be -x. Recognize that we have 3 terms here. 1, 2, 3, right? This 9 is a term. This positive 2x is a term. This x is another term. So we want to combine all the x terms together. And here it's positive x. So you have to apply the opposite of that, and that's going to be subtraction, so -x. So I'm going to copy this equation, 9 plus 2x equals positive x. Okay, I'm going to write the positive. Usually it's not written, but I'm writing it right here to show that this x is in fact positive, and we have to apply the opposite of that. The opposite operation is -x, so I'm going to write -x right here, and this x and this x are going to cancel because positive x minus x is going to give 0. So this here is going to be 0, and this is 9 plus 2x minus x equals 0. 2x and -x are like terms, so we can combine them together. So here it's 9, we copy the 9. 2x minus x is the same as 2x minus 1 times x, right? So the coefficient 2 minus 1 is basically 1, so we're going to get like 1x. Okay, 2 minus 1 is 1, so we get 1x right here. So these are like terms, that's why we can combine them, and this is equal to 0. And then we can move this 9 to the other side, right? Remember, we have two terms, a term here and another term here. So we can apply the opposite operation to this 9. And what is the opposite operation? Well, we know that this 9 is positive. There's an invisible plus sign in front of it. So we know since this is positive, we have to apply the opposite of positive, which is negative. So we are going to subtract 9 from both sides of the equation. So here we have 9 plus, this is 1 times x is basically x, okay? So I don't really need to write the 1. So I could just write as x, okay? And then, so we have to subtract 9 from both sides. So subtract 9, and here it's 0, subtract 9. 9 minus 9 will cancel because 9 minus 9 is 0. The signs in front of it also gets canceled. This is just positive x, which is just x. We don't need to write the plus sign, really, but you could, but usually it's not written when it's just like the first term. 0 minus 9 gives us negative 9, and thus we have x is equal to negative 9. So we have found our x right here. Alright guys, this is the end of my YouTube video. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I look forward to seeing you next time for another math video. Bye!